Welcome back to TYT Sports. Jason and Ben with you. Let's do a Turks and Jerks kind of like segment.
Yeah, from yesterday's championship game.
Yeah.
Let's start with jerks because there's an obvious jerk, and it's a coach I like. The jerk is Mike Tomlin, and it's a no-brainer for a couple of things. And Tomlin is not, I tweeted this week. I love it when people reference their own tweets like anybody cares. But I only mentioned it because I tagged Chris Liss in it because Chris and I are, and he made this point. So my tweet was basically, don't punt on 4th and 7 when the nose of the ball is inside the other guy's 40-yard line. Right. And you're down 20-9 with 18 minutes to play in a championship game. There's too many characters, but that was the point I was making, right? So they punted, and they netted 29 yards. They went from the 40 to the 11, and then what do you know? The Patriots went 89 yards and scored. You're behind. You can't stop them. Right. Don't give them the ball. It wasn't 4th and 17. I probably would have punted at 4th and 17 because there's no play there, right? You don't have but you can get 8 yards. You have Ben Roethlisberger and Antonio Brown, right?
Well, they had Antonio Brown contained, the Patriots defense.
I'm just saying, a 7-yard gain is makeable, and the net positive. You're turning it over on purpose.
You know how you know it's a bad call? When Jim Nantz and Phil Simms say, well, it just seems like they netted only about 29 yards on that punt.
But
they agree with
But they need
the
to say, those
point.
guys maybe need to say it if they're going to be good at their jobs ahead of time.
Right.
Like, this is a bad decision. Right. Giving up the ball is a bad decision. Now, look, I don't think the Steelers win that game, but the way they win it is by scoring, right?
Which probably leads you to another Mike Tomlin making the play calls 4th and 1.
So when they don't give the touchdown to Jesse James, and it wasn't a touchdown, but that ball was what, on the foot line?
I don't know. Drew McGarry's always made, really quick, Drew McGarry of Deadspin GQ's made a very good point about how we have cameras in the blades of grass. I'm paraphrasing his words.
Yeah.
But when it comes to 4th and inches, we can't get an exact estimate. Is
it
5 inches? Is it 10 inches?
So but it was inside the 1.
Yes.
Solidly inside the 1. Your quarterback is what, 6'5", 240? I mean, he looks bigger than 240, right? And I get it. You don't want to get him hurt. That's what our EP Dan just said. But Dan agrees that, so maybe in week 7 against the Browns, you don't run it. But this is a championship game.
Left after this.
You're down 17-6. There's a 100% chance, unless he fumbles, that if you give Ben Roethlisberger 4 quarterback sneaks from the half-yard line, that he's going to get in. He can't stop it. He's too big. Right. Almost any quarterback gets in.
Well, that's what I mean.
Over the top, reach it. But going, the segment starts here. I don't begin the segment back here as I lose the mic, right? We start the segment here. Don't give the ball 7 yards behind the spot you have to go.
A little bit ironic because the Patriots, and every time they're in that situation with their greatest quarterback of all time, and Tom Brady,
they sneak it. They know
he hasn't. Do you hear the number? 95% conversion rate on 4th and 1 with a QB sneak. Whether it be at the goal line,
and he's
whether
smaller.
it be
He's smaller.
Well, not by much.
I got it, but Roethlisberger is big and strong. We've seen for years how hard. Hold on, let me finish. We've seen for years how hard it is to bring that guy down. Right? There's no quarterback tougher to bring down. Go forward. You'll score. And then you go for 2, or you don't. You're either down 17-12, or they probably should have just kicked the point. You're down 17-12, 13, or 14 at the half. And it's a different game.
And you get the ball.
And you get the ball. Now they still went 3 and out incredibly quickly.
But you get the ball.
Twice. And right. So you have every chance. And then again at 20-9, not to go for it is criminal. But as Chris Liss pointed out, that was Tomlin isn't gutless. Tomlin is not a coach. Tomlin does go for it. Yeah. So it was very surprising to me to see him not go for it. And at least the broadcast didn't indicate any sense. Well, of course, they don't know what's in his head. But they didn't bring up any drama because, again, we're trained. We need a whole new way of thinking. It should be obvious to go for it. The coaches, there should be a coach who talks the head coach out of going for it. Your default should be, I'm going to take 4 downs to get these 10 yards. Not 3, 4. And then maybe a conservative coach is there and be like, Coach, it's 4th and 11. We're at our own 43. We're only down 17-14. Let's punt. And then he goes, you know what? You're right. This time I'm going to punt. But one day there's going to be a successful team, and at the end of the year in the playoffs,
there was.
We're going to look at a punter, and he's going to come out, and his name's going to be Jason Bryant.
There you go.
Right? And Jason Bryant's going to say, punts on the season? 19. And in
Total.
16 games, he'll have punted 19 times because you'll punt when it's 35-7 in the fourth quarter. You'll be kind.
But when Jason Bryant gets his chance, he'll cough and corner you.
Right, totally. It's great hang time. Anyway, so Mike Tomlin.
There is a team, though. You're referring to a team. You're referring to a coach. Actually, two, where it's been successful throughout an entire season, so much so that it came one short of winning the Super Bowl in Ron Rivera when it worked. He would gamble. He'd go for it on 4th and 5 on his own 48-yard line. And then this year, if it wasn't for Derek Carr being injured, we would have seen probably Jack Del Rio do the same thing.
No question, it started. But still, there's a thing, if it's like 4th and more than 4, they panic. You're losing. Why do you care how much you lose by?
Right.
Don't give the ball away on purpose.
You care specifically to a T how much they lose by.
Yes, I do care. That's right.
11 points compared to 19 points. Yeah. What was the final?
19. And, I they were teased to 12. But
where does this, you've seen more playoffs than I have, like just by sheer amount of years.
Last is where it ranks.
Is this the worst playoffs in NFL history?
It's been bad. There's been one legendary game, one great game, and 9 bad ones. Even the other competitive game, the Steelers-Chiefs, was not good.
I did think, and I wish we should throw this. It's so outdated though. Nick Wright on Fox Sports, probably one of the greatest Chiefs are frauds rant.
Yeah,
teams that have scored, and his major point being that teams that have scored 2 touchdowns more than the opponent
have never lost.
NFL history are 245-1. That one is the Chiefs.
Yeah, it's amazing how you could manage to lose that game. Yeah, but the Chiefs. I don't know how the Chiefs won 12 games. I didn't think any of those Chiefs bets in the playoffs were good bets. But I was so shell-shocked, but I lost. I bet on the Chiefs after saying that because I was so shell-shocked from losing 7 straight playoff games that I was talking. I wasn't even with friends, but I was talking to a friend of ours, a guy who's on here at DYT Sports sometimes, and he was with a bunch of people. And he was like, well, we're all on the Chiefs here. And I was like, okay, man, I don't know what I'm doing, so I hear you. Fine, Chiefs. And the Steelers were the only bet that I really felt great about that weekend. But anyway, either way, then instead of being 1-9 now, I'd be 2-8. I'd still be having a disastrous play.
That's still better.
It's better.
It's better. It's a significant increase.